Hi, my name is Aleida Merkel. I'm the great-granddaughter of Louisa Merkel-Romé and Georg Merkel, painters from Austria and France. I was born in Mexico, in the middle of the country, in San Miguel de Allende. I grew up between Mexico, New York, and Vienna, and I studied architecture. My mother never really spoke about my family, so between dreams, I think it was mostly an intuition that I had to look them up or to find out about them. I was about 16 and I looked up my great-grandfather and I found him on the internet. And later on, even if I asked questions, my mother was always very subtle to not let me in. When I was in university, I started having a dream of an exhibition with paintings, and something that just kept going through the years, and I didn't understand why. And then a couple of years ago, I started asking more questions to my mother, yet she still didn't access anything. So at the beginning of this year, I had an interaction with a man, and he sort of convinced me to take a year off my career. I was already working as an architect, and he convinced me, and I ended up in Vienna, once again with my mom. And that's when it started. I started digging, and I started asking her, please just tell me more. And she told me that there was a gallery in the city of Vienna, and that I should go and ask them questions. And I went to them, and they told me they had this whole archive of paintings and that I could look at them. And my grandfather apparently had made a contract with the gallery on consignment to keep the paintings with them. And when I started looking at the paintings, I realized that the paintings were the same ones as in my dream. And that's when everything started, and that's when I started the research. Yes, I did. I found some binders in the basement of the gallery. My grandfather collected everything of their artistic career. He made about 15 binders. These are newspaper clippings from 1971 to 1986. And he basically just wanted to document their whole career and sort of keep their legacy and make sure that their memory was alive. Yes, that was a surprise, very beautiful surprise. We didn't know about that, but my grandmother left part of the archive in the Jewish Museum, and it was everything about their lives, from marriage licenses to passports, fake passports. I remember when I found my great-grandmother's fake passport, I teared up in front of everyone. It was very beautiful. Then I looked at them, and history that I didn't know about, and little bits and pieces that maybe my mother had mentioned, but I didn't know the full story, how they fled to France, all of the letters, how they tried to go to New York before landing in France. Yeah. I think in terms of me as a personal, like just really, really personal, I think I was always sort of lost. I felt a bit lost in my way, and there was a long time where I was very depressed and where I didn't understand where things came from, or where like this resentment or anger towards my mother came from. And I realized, or even just the fact that I just kept trying to push my mother to know more and to understand myself more. I think once I learned about their history, I understood my mother to the point where I could forgive her, and I could just sort of leave it and say, like, I love you, and your parents loved you, and your great-grandparents loved you, and they loved everyone. And I think there's so many things that were left behind that nobody would talk about, that I think were very important to just sort of move forward. So in a way, I think just learning about their history, I was able to move forward and sort of look at my future in a better way. And sort of, I also learned a lot about resilience. I saw the resilience that my family had in just moving forward and keep pushing. I mean, they lived till their 90s, and they never gave up any of their dreams. They never, they moved wherever they needed to. They still kept on going. And in a way, I think my mother was still doing that, even at her point. I mean, she had 6 kids. And me just trying to move past the, I guess, personal issues. I think that was also a resilience that I had, and I think that's, I think resilience could be genetic, and I think it's something that you either build it when you're a kid, or you are born with it. And so to have that was very beautiful. When I first came, I was about 13, my first time living in Vienna. And I remember during the summer, I was standing in front of the Schwedenplatz, and I just had this feeling like I was home. A very strange feeling, and I didn't understand why. And I think now it happened that I understand why. I mean, my family came from here, and I think in a way it just made it so much, it made sense for me to come back and to be here. And I do feel a close connection to the city. I just didn't know why, and now it just makes sense.